It all began with a splash and ended with a spectacle. My modest backyard pool wasn't anything extravagant. A 12 by 24-foot rectangle, neatly tiled with a couple of loungers, a grill, and just enough room for weekend swims and quiet afternoons with a book. It was, in my eyes, the perfect slice of suburban peace, until Karen found out. Karen, the HOA president and self-appointed ruler of the cul-de-sac, seemed to make it her mission to enforce every ambiguous rule in the HOA handbook. She lived 2 houses down and could spot an unapproved wind chime from 50 yards away. And for reasons unknown, my pool became her latest obsession. I came home one afternoon to a bright orange notice taped to my front door. Pool installation found to be in violation of HOA aesthetic guidelines. Removal or compliance required within 30 days. I stared at the letter in disbelief. I'd submitted all the permits, filed the HOA forms, and even consulted with the Architectural Review Committee before I broke ground. Everything had been approved. I confronted Karen the next day, HOA paperwork in hand. "Your paperwork wasn't reviewed by me," she sniffed, "and your pool disrupts the visual harmony of the neighborhood." I raised an eyebrow. "The visual harmony? From your house, you can't even see it." She crossed her arms. "That's not the point." I knew exactly what this was. Control. Karen didn't like being bypassed or, God forbid, not consulted. And now she was flexing the only power she thought she had. So I got an idea. If she didn't like my pool, maybe she'd love a second one. The property next door had been vacant for a while. The previous owners had moved, and it was sitting unsold. I called the listing agent that week. 3 weeks later, it was mine. The backyard was slightly larger, with great sun exposure, and zero obstructions from Karen's view. I hired a crew. This time, no modest 12 by 24 rectangle. I went full resort mode, an L-shaped pool with a built-in waterfall feature, tanning ledge, mosaic tile inlays, and underwater lighting that changed colors at night. I even added a poolside pergola with a wet bar and sound system. While construction was underway, Karen would walk by daily, sunglasses lowered, trying to piece together what was happening. The day the pool was completed, I invited the whole neighborhood to a grand opening party. Barbecue, floats, music, the works. Karen was not invited, but she didn't need an invitation. The pool was now very visible from her upstairs window. At night, the lights glowed aqua blue, the waterfall added a soothing soundtrack to the neighborhood, and laughter echoed from over the fence. She filed a complaint, of course, but this time the HOA sided with me. Why? Because I now sat on the Architectural Review Committee. Turns out when you own 2 properties in the neighborhood and follow every bylaw to the letter, it's hard to stop you. Her petty crusade turned into a lesson in how overreach can backfire. Now both pools are in use. I rent the second home to a lovely couple who love hosting. Our block has never been more alive. Karen, meanwhile, has installed blackout curtains in her upstairs windows. Sometimes the best way to handle HOA nonsense is to beat them at their own game. With water, tile, and a splash of pettiness,